When we are born, we are swaddled and snuggled, whispered to, fussed over, tickled and cuddled. When we grow up, things get muddled, and here it is Christmas time.
Welcome back, Mother Cuppers. Woo! It is week 13, and I finally got a friend. Anthony's back.
Hey, happy Thanksgiving. How was your holiday?
Nah, it was good, man. I think the leftovers are finally gone. Paige made like a turkey pot pie. So that's
when you know you're wrapping it up.
It's either soup or pot pie, then it's a wrap. Like there was still a ton of stuffing that turned into more of a brick than stuffing, so that's now in the trash. We're done with that.
Yeah, I feel you.
A lot of stuff's happened. Logan got engaged. Yeah, good for you, Logan. Alicia, welcome to the family. Pumped about that. And what else?
Hey, we're on to the home stretch of the fantasy season here.
That's right. So, let's talk about last week a little bit. That happened. Logan and I had some picks. We picked some stuff. Well, I picked stuff on screen, and Logan sent me a message. And neither one of us did very well. I was 2-4. Logan was 3-3. We're not good at this. Obviously.
It's tough.
It is, man. You never know. It's NFL. It's football. It's a funny shaped ball.
Yeah. To bounce any direction.
That's right. That's how it went. It bounced in the wrong direction a lot for me this season. We'll get into that a little bit later. First, I want to go over this week's PreCup. So here's how we're going to do this. I'm not going to tell you about the players that played. I'm just going to tell you about the outcome. And I'm going to start with the biggest blowout of the week. It was 22.6 points. Everybody was pretty close.
Barely a blow at all.
That's right. You'd be upset if you paid for it.
Yeah. You did not get your money's worth.
This is why I needed somebody else. Oh, my goodness. But Chris won that matchup over Seth. 22.6 points was the difference. Now, second best was Andrew over Paul. That was 19.62 points. Nick Manarino put it on Nate with a margin of 17.86. Anthony beat Logan. And if you ask Logan about this, there should be an asterisk next to this one. Because it was 5.88 points. Who was it that should have got the touchdown?
I didn't see the play he's been talking about. He's saying Mahomes should have been credited with a passing touchdown at some point. My guess is it was maybe one of those like shovel kind of plays that they run. They usually run, and they didn't call it a forward pass or something. I don't know. I didn't see what he's talking about, but I assume
it was Pacheco, and it was a first down, like on the goal line. But they didn't even give it a chance to replay. They just rushed up to the line and ran the play, and Pacheco got in the end zone anyway. But
so he got tackled short the first time, but it looked like he had scored.
If they would have replayed it, it would probably been turned over.
Okay.
But they didn't challenge. Yeah. They just were like, we're on the goal line. Here we go.
That's tough. Well, I'm second in the league in points scored, and I'm 2 games under 500, so I don't have a lot of sympathies to hand out in that regard. I'll take the W. Thanks very much.
I didn't think you'd be overly sympathetic. But Greg beat Zach by an even lesser margin, 3.34, and I lost to Derek by 3.08. Brutal, man. And Derek got all shitty about it. Like, want to talk shit. I'm like, dude, I'm in last place.
It's kicking you while you're down. It's like, rude.
In the last week's PreCup, I projected you to be in the 200 club again, and you vastly underperformed at 143. Get over yourself, brother.
Yeah. Took Zay Flowers making, honestly, a bonehead football play to get the win. Now, is he a football guy? I don't know. Maybe not.
Zay Flowers is a terrible football player. He's a horrible football player. He's a great athlete and a good receiver. But
where's the situational awareness, Zay?
What the fuck, bro? You fucked 2 people that week. Who was the other one?
Zach.
Zach got screwed because then Keenan Allen gets the garbage
Yeah,
time
like
catch.
20-yard catch.
Ah, man. We're not going to talk about that. That's last week, and it's over. Last week is over. So, I've been doing the standings. I'm going to throw it over to Anthony. Anthony, do the standings, do the playoff thing. And
So yeah, we're coming down the home stretch, 2 weeks to go in the regular season. This is the time where the playoff calculator starts humming. I've been on there, I've been crunching the numbers. But yeah, as Nick said, he's been running through the standings. So far, Logan, Seth, and Derek clinched playoff spots. Seth and Derek both 2 games back of Logan. Hypothetically, if Logan were to go 0-2, either one of them go 2-0. They have a chance at stealing the first round bye. Logan's just got to win one game, and he's got it locked up. So that's where we're at.
nice.
Everybody else, 4 through 11 are in contention. Nick, you are sadly eliminated. Good luck in the losers bracket. I don't want to see you run the beer mile again. A couple guys, Zach and Nick, pretty minuscule playoff chances, 3% and 1% respectively. So I think they're going to be down there with you. Myself, Andrew, Chris, Greg, Nate, and Paul. We're kind of in the thick of it these next 2 weeks. But first, before we get into the playoff possibilities, what I like to do around this time of year is kind of get a sense for maybe who's overshooting their abilities, who's gotten a little unlucky. Is the season shaking out like, maybe it could have in other realities? What I like to do, compare schedules. So how would we all have done if we had played a different schedule? Let me tell you, Nick, you lived in the reality where you got the worst outcome you could have possibly gotten. 2-10 is the worst you could have done, no matter whose schedule you played. Had you played Logan's schedule, you would have been 7-5 right now. So the schedule you get, it makes a big difference. That's not to say Logan has gotten super lucky. He's probably playing a little bit above his skis. There's some schedules where he would have been 7-5. There's some where he's 8-4. There's some where he's 6-6. So at 10-2, he's getting his most positive outcome. On the other side of that coin is myself sitting at 5-7. There's there's a few schedules where I'm 10-2, including Logan's, including Seth's. I'd be 9-3 under Nate and Andrews. So getting the short end of the stick a little bit, but we still got life. As far as how would you have looked if we were in some kind of crazy league where we played everybody every week? It's just your score goes up against everybody else's, and you get a win or a loss. So with that being said, Derek is by far the best team this season, like using those numbers. If he had played everybody every week, he'd be 90-42, almost 50 games over 500 on the season. That's a 9-game lead over anybody else. Second and third are me and Logan, both at 81 and 51. So we'd have the same schedule if we played. We'd have the same record if we played everybody every week all year. Logan's 10-2. I'm 5-7. So a little bit of luck disparity going on there. And then so Derek's clearly not the Baker this year. He's riding high. His team is legitimately good, very deserving of his record. Could say he probably even deserves to be a little bit better.
Yep.
The Baker, Seth, you're the Baker, my man. Big time. Yeah, Grubby called it, man, at the beginning of the season. Didn't like Seth's lineup, and it's played out. Seth's gotten the wins. He's got 8 wins. He's clinched a playoff spot already. But Lady Luck has been on his side. If he played everybody every week this season, he'd be 61-71, 10 games under 500. Seth has only had 5 weeks this year where he's been in the top half of scorers, and yet he has 8 wins. So he's got some stuff going his way. On the other side of that spectrum, Nick, you actually don't have the worst record using that large number. You'd be 42-90. So exactly the inverse of Derek. But Nick Manarino would be 39-93. So we'll make Nick's great again next year. So that's just a fun look. Everybody else has been fairly true to their record, kind of landing where they should be. Paul has maybe overshot his a little bit, but not that crazy. But yeah, so to the playoff calculator, 2 weeks left. I mentioned the guys who have a lot to play for. With the matchups this week, basically how what's going to shake out is between myself, Andrew, Chris, and Greg. Those are really the four that are up in the air. Um, Whoever can go 2-0 these next 2 weeks are going to control their destiny. There's some guys that can win one and lose one. Whoever can win this week, if me and Chris win this week, basically we control our destiny. If we win next week as well, we can't be knocked out. If you lose, the same thing goes with Greg. If he wins this week and next week, and then wins next week, he can't be knocked out. So it's important to get this first win. I'm taking on Andrew, so right in the line of fire there. And does Chris play Greg this week as well? He does. So yeah, we're all going head to head this week. So it's those two matchups are huge. The only way Paul can get knocked out, if he loses both weeks, he can get knocked out. And there's actually a way where he can get left out if he loses only one and wins one. So Paul is not safe at 7-5 yet. He's not as safe as he seems, despite a 97% percentage to get in the playoffs. I couldn't figure out the way that Nate misses it. He's at 99, and I couldn't find the one where he doesn't make it in. So I think he's pretty safe.
It's got to have something to do with points.
Yeah, maybe. Mostly it's coming down to me, Greg, Andrew, and Chris, with a slim chance of Paul falling out of there. But yeah, the two matchups this week are going to go a long way in deciding it.
Wow. Okay, so a lot of stuff can happen, is what you're saying.
Some stuff can definitely happen.
All right, so you got to win. Set your lineups, make them great. All right. Speaking of setting the lineups, we do have a Valley Trader this week, and I think by the time this airs, it'll be the end of the trade deadline. So if we don't call you right now, we're recording this on a Wednesday. There's still time, but this might be the last Valley Trader. So cue the banjos.
So boys, cue the music. About trades.
All right. So the Valley Trader, we got one that actually came in for last week, post taping, a Sunday morning deal. Logan and Andrew. Logan sends Khalil Herbert over to Andrew in exchange for Taysom Hill. Another attempt to fucking kamikaze my ass at the last second. Didn't work out. Sorry about it. But yeah, it was a beneficial trade for Logan. He took Jono Smith out of his lineup, who I think got a 0. Yeah. And he put in Taysom, who didn't have a good game, but got an 8. So made it a closer matchup. Andrew got Khalil Herbert, who he didn't start last week and is now on a bye this week. So not super sure what he had to gain for that trade, but it is what it is. The other trade this week, me and Nate, I fired him over Cortland Sutton, so he doesn't have to start Adam Thielen anymore. The fucking shine has completely come off that turd. Thielen started hot. He has not been great in quite a few weeks. So Nate gets a solid wide receiver 2 flex play in there in his stead. And he traded me Brian Robinson Jr., which awesome. I am a running back dead zone right now, so that was great to get. Nate has some good running back options, so it didn't seem like he was going to start Robinson anyway. But hey, I was happy to wake up and see that one get accepted. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. Well, good, man. I'm glad you got Brian Robinson. Get some Commander love in there. I'm not rocking the Commanders because it's December now.
Nice sweater.
Doing my ugly sweater thing. There's a snowman down here.
Nice.
Yeah, there he is.
Hell yeah.
Holding a red Solo cup. Felt right.
Oh,
all right. Cool. That was Valley Trader. We did the PreCup. We've done all the things from last week. let's get into this week. Lizard, what do you have to say?
Drinking out of cups, being a bitch.
All right, so we're going to get it started off with Andrew and Anthony. We have Laporta Potties taking on It's Always TDs in Philadelphia. Both teams 5-7. Huge playoff implications in this matchup. And I got to say, looking right at him right now, I don't see how Andrew wins this one.
Yeah, he's getting bipocalypsed pretty hard at a pretty pivotal moment of the season.
Yes. Brutal. Why do we have all these bye weeks this week and none last week? Thanksgiving?
Come on, Roger. Clean it up.
Yeah, what are we doing? So he's starting Derek Carr because he can't start Lamar Jackson. You can't love that. He does get to stack him with Olave, and he's been doing fine. But then, like, is he playing? Like, he had the concussion.
Yeah.
Like, if he doesn't play, like, who does he put in there? He has exactly 0 players on his bench that aren't on a bye.
Yeah, I thought he dropped Odell earlier today, and that doesn't seem to be reflecting here. I thought he dropped Odell and picked somebody up. I mean, whoever it is not going to be massively consequential. But yeah, he's pretty spades tight right now.
Right.
It's a tough look for Andrew. Tough time to have all those buys. I got a couple as well. I'm down James Cook. I'm down Dalton Kincaid. But Freiermuth looked to come alive under the new OC last week. So happy I've just been kind of holding on to him for a few weeks.
Yeah.
Picked up Brian Robinson Jr. to shore up the running back slot because I don't think Kenneth Walker is going to come back this week.
Nah, he ain't playing.
He ain't playing. But other than that, I got my Eagles. I got Chase. Got Tank. I love the Jets D to score a touchdown for Desmond Ridder to throw somebody a touchdown pass that's wearing green in that game. Yeah, I imagine Andrew's working the phones pretty hard right now, trying to swing a deal with somebody who can afford to hold some of his bye guys for a week in exchange for some guys that are playing this week. But like Lamar has been a much better real life quarterback than he has been a fantasy quarterback for the last couple months. Saquon, it's kind of a bummer to start. DJ Moore, maybe but then like you're kind of cutting off your nose to spite your face, and you're going and you're weakening yourself next week. So I don't know. It's a tough spot to be in, bad luck. But yeah, I think I'm gonna get the win.
Yeah, man, I agree. He's starting A.T. Perry. Like that's somebody. He's got a double stack.
Yeah, like maybe if Olave doesn't play, A.T. Perry is like the only receiving option they have, and he gets some look. But then if that's the case, then Olave's not playing, and you got that.
It's just a mess. I'm gonna give it to you. I do like. I mean that Philly San Fran game should be fun to watch, and we all get to watch that one. I think it's probably going to be America's game of the week. I hate that you have to start Miles Sanders. That's a bummer, but I think it'll be okay. Tank Dell's questionable. He's been hurt. Didn't practice today.
Don't love that.
No, he'll probably be fine. I like Tank Dell.
Yeah.
Have him in Dynasty. Love that.
No, been trying to poke some offers at you.
I know. I just have a hard time coming off him. He's probably going to be great.
He's pretty good.
Give me that. All right, let's move on to the next one. We have Nate and Paul. It's Yo Soy Fiesta taking on Buffalo Soldiers 3.0. Both of these guys are 7-5. But they're dealing with their own personal hell at Bipocalypse here. Paul, I think, is getting the worst end of it because he doesn't have his Buffalo
Soldiers.
Have any,
he's got no soldiers.
No soldiers. Nate, not so bad. I mean, he doesn't have Hawkinson. He doesn't have his quarterback in Dobbs, but he's starting Russell Wilson, who he made a trade very early in the season to get rid of Tua, which, that was great. Nate.
That was a long time ago. Yeah.
God, it was so dumb. Anyway, I like Nate in this matchup. If the Buffalo Soldiers aren't marching, I don't know how Paul wins. So
If the soldiers aren't marching, you ain't winning.
yeah,
Yeah, he's got Gardner in there. Fucking Charbonnet against Dallas. Tyler
don't want
Lockett
that.
against Dallas. That's going to be tough for Paul. He's only projected at a 110, and that seems generous. Um,
No, he's
yeah,
got Dallas playing against the Seahawks. He's got the Cowboys D. So there's like probably 20 points.
going to be tough to win both ends of that one. Yeah, Nate's down Hawkinson, but he's got enough firepower. Otherwise, he's got Sutton in there at flex now. That looks good. It looks good in his lineup.
Mhm.
He's keeping Thielen in, I guess, still instead of Deontay. Yeah, I don't know.
Against Arizona, I'll play
The
Deontay.
Steelers offense, the first time they had over 400 yards in 3 years, the minute they fire Matt Canada. So I'd maybe keep Deontay in there instead of Thielen. Yeah, Nate should get this, and I would imagine losing this game is goes a long way in this small scenario where Paul could miss the playoffs. So tough bye week for him as well. I'm going to give it to Nate.
Yeah. Good luck, Paul. That's a top to bottom. You hate every matchup on Paul's squad, dude. Gardner Minshew against Tennessee. That could be fun. We'll see how that goes. That's it. Well, no, Najee. He's got Najee back in there. He'll probably do fine against Arizona.
Yeah, we got a Steelers running back battle here. That could be important. Which one of either Warren or Najee, which one of them carries the load there?
Goodness. Yeah, I'll give it to Nate. So next we
up.
have Chris and Greg. It's the Stroud boys taking on the Chicken Brothers.
So we just had three. So they're both 6-6. We
Yep.
had three straight matchups where the teams play each other at the same record. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's got to be a DOC first. Been a wild year. All right, so in this one, Chris is projected a lot. Greg is not. And mainly because his bye week shuffle includes Devontae Adams and Jordan Addison. So those two guys go away. That is tough. But you got to love Herbert and Keenan Allen against New England. You got to love Derrick Henry against Indy. That's like no, Rashad White against Carolina. That's probably going to be fine. He'll do fine there. And Dolphins versus Washington, that I mean, Washington's going to get the yards. They'll throw the ball, they'll get the yards, but they're going to throw the turnovers, they're going to fumble the ball. There's a lot of ways these boys here lose the game in spectacular fashion. So, oh, wait a minute. Greg, you need a kicker, man.
Yeah.
Greg, get a kicker. Hopefully by the time you see this,
it'll bring the projections closer. Yeah.
He ain't seeing this. He don't watch this.
Greg missing a couple bullets with Adams and Addison out of his wide receiver core. Gus bust down as well, like you said. Yeah, he's still got Herbert and Allen, which has been. I wish we still had some stack stats. I would say that's probably up there this year.
Yeah.
I think Pickens, again, a lot like what I said with Johnson, it could just be like, oh, Pickens is good again this week or something with the Steelers throwing the ball around a little bit more. I don't love Conklin. I don't love Algier there. I think that's going to be pretty low points down there. Chris, I think Chris said in the Slack recently, so does Austin Eckler just suck now?
No, he does.
He hasn't done much this year. He hasn't looked great.
He's hurt. Like, he's playing through some injury, but still.
Yeah, it's just like his name is carrying a lot more weight than he's producing right now. Stroud against Denver, their defense, since they gave up that 70 points to the Dolphins, they've only given up like less than 70 since then, or something like that is a stat I heard.
They're a good D.
They've turned it around big time. Chris is missing Jefferson still. It sounds like he's going to get him back next week. So this is huge for Chris. If he can win this game, if he can get Jefferson back next week, he could be he could be a problem in the playoffs. This one I think is going to be closer than the experts are predicting here. I'm gonna go Chris, but I think this one's gonna be pretty close.
Yeah, I'm going to go Chris too. All right, so the next one is going to be Seth and Nick Manarino. It's the 8-4 Purdy's Posse taking on the 4-8. Do you believe in Jamiracles? He believed in a Jamiracle last week because, goodness, none of us picked Nick to win that thing, but he pulled it off. And Nick's got a good squad, man. I like it, what he did there. Struggling a little bit at quarterback, but he's throwing Baker Mayfield in there. If he's healthy, I love that against Carolina. Running back's probably going to be fine. Garrett Wilson, Terry McLaurin, bit of a wild card, who knows. Trey McBride's been nice. Nico Collins has been awesome, and he's starting the Broncos D, as mentioned before. They are good. On Seth's side, Anthony, tell me about it.
So this is the one where we have flipped records, 4-8 versus 8-4, compared to the matching records, the previous matchups. So there's very easily a world where Seth could also be 4-8 if he played a lot of different people's schedules. He could have wound up 4-8 this year.
Sure.
There's no world where Nick would have ever been 8-4. The best record he could have had on the year is 6-6, and that's if he played Seth's schedule. So that being said, Bipocalypse, not much of a factor in this one. Nick's missing the Ravens defense, which has been very strong. But other than that, we're getting these teams pretty much straight up, which luck and performance this year says Seth should win this. He's already got the playoffs locked up. So it doesn't really matter to him. I'm gonna go with Seth getting Kyron back. He was a monster last week. He's been a monster when he's played this year. That's a huge boost. I got Seth winning this one.
Yeah.
Nick, I don't know, man. He started off the draft with Mahomes and Justin Jefferson, and I thought he was going to be the 1 seed this year, and it just did not play out for the Knicks.
Yeah, both those guys are gone. They're not on his squad anymore. DK's been disappointing. Kyron back is nice. Brees Hall against Atlanta should probably be good. I hate Kittle. Like, as a fantasy player, I just don't like him.
I know, me too.
He should
but
be
he's tied
great
at 3
all
again.
the time. Yeah, he should be great always. He's a good tight end. They just too many weapons. You went Seth. I think we've been on the same side on every one of these picks. I will take Nick. We're not making Nick's great again, but we're making Nick suck a little less.
Smidge.
A little itty bitty. All right, let's get into the next one. It's Zach. It's me. It's the toilet bowl.
Oh.
God, I'm getting tired of being featured in this thing. But when you're 2-10, chances are you're in this matchup.
That's where you live.
Zach's been a little better at 4-8, but only since I dropped Dak Prescott.
That helped him.
And yeah, that was real dumb on my part. I probably would have been in the playoff picture by now, but I'm not. And well, Zach's been benefiting from him, and this is a bit of a revenge game. And I'm very thankful it's on a Thursday, because we don't get offensive performances on a Thursday, right? Against Seattle, though.
Yeah,
he's gonna show up.
The Dallas stack has been really, really nice for the decks. I felt the brunt of it full force the week I played him. Hey, you know what? Great move by Zach, having the foresight to acquire AJ Dillon. I always said that was a great move. Got to have your handcuff. It's just 10,000 IQ move there to have that one ready.
Yeah.
So he's good there, despite losing Aaron Jones. The stack's going to be tough. On your side, you're missing Jacobs, the only real buy victim in this. Man, Cooper Kupp has stunk, hasn't he?
It's been real bad.
Oh, it hurts. Playing Cleveland's defense, so that's probably not going to make it better. Mike Evans been awesome.
Yes.
That's cool. That's cool. You're hoping this is a week where Curtis Samuel hits and not a week where he does nothing. Um, Kyler, I've liked Kyler since he came back.
I'm fine.
Ramondre should be able to run on the Chargers. You just saw the Ravens run all over him.
Yeah.
Oof. But my friend, I think the stack is going to score a lot of points in that Thursday night game. I think Seattle's bad. I don't actually think they're very good. Their defense is not good. They won a couple games early. Gino has looked far worse than he did last year, which is not that surprising to me. You know what that Gino season is? You remember when Case Keenum had that one really good year with the Vikings, and he went back to being Case Keenum?
Yeah. In Washington.
Kind of the same deal. I'm gonna go with the Dax.
With the Dax. Okay. Long, hard Dax. I fucking agree. Oh my god, what a frustrating season this has been. I agree with you. I haven't got quarterback right. I'm drafting a quarterback first round next year. That's how it's going to
Jalen
go.
Hurts is pretty great.
Yeah, first round pick. That's how that's going to go. There's a way I win. I can see the path to winning. It's there. And I always pick myself to win. And it just hadn't worked out. So, Zach, it's your week, buddy. You're getting it, man. Zach, you're the winner. You're the big winner here. Long, hard Dex taking me down. For Grubby, gonna lose. What do you think about that? How's that for a reverse jinx?
There you go.
Yeah.
Respect your enemy.
Gotta do something different. Try not to run a beer mile. You think Zach will run a beer mile if he gets to that point?
No, I don't.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. We're pulling for Zach. There'll be no beer mile this year. All right, let's get into the last one. The last one's going to be the powerhouses. It's Logan. It's Derek. Logan's 10-2. Derek is 8-4. It's for Grubby taking on the guys. Logan lost last week after putting up 9 in a row. Well done defending your title, Anthony. You guys are still tied, right?
Yeah, 9 sitting at the top of the list. Yeah, that was crazy. We didn't mention that. That was to break the longest winning streak ever record. First one to get to 10. Just missed it.
That close. One Patrick Mahomes legitimate touchdown away from securing that dub. Unfortunately, for little brother, I don't see it going well for him this week. Derek, the only person he has on bye is that terrible football player, Zay Flowers. So that's actually good for your team. You get to put all your other guys out there. And lucky for him, he had the first waiver priority. Gets Zach Moss. That is the pickup of the week. Probably going to carry you into the playoffs and send you towards a championship appearance again, in my opinion. Well done, Derek. Good job. I think he beats Logan, short of a miraculous game out of Patrick Mahomes. But yeah, I'm giving it to Derek.
Derek's team looking pretty lethal this week. Tua and Tyreek against the Manders. That might get a little heinous, honestly. I can just see Tyreek running past St. Juice as he stumbles and trips over the fucking 30-yard line. That one's going to get ugly. His running backs are pretty strong. It's nice to be able to pick up an RB1 who was a top 5 running back when he was playing earlier in the season off waivers. Great week to have the first priority. That's pretty nice. Logan's side, I mean, obviously pretty strong team. missing a couple of his flex options this week. Well, just Jacoby. He's gonna roll the dice on Dotson this week, so that's boom or bust. If he gets the boom out of Dotson, I think he can win the week. And then if the Saints don't have any receivers, Kamara might catch 15 swing passes, so that can be big as well.
Right.
Bijan against the Jets, their defense is still playing hard. They're still good despite the offense being fucking peewee football level. I think they keep Atlanta's offense down a bit, and then I don't know. It's gonna be high scoring. I'll go with Derek as well. And yeah, if Logan wins it, if he doesn't win it, the door stays open for Derek to steal that first round bye. So we'll see what happens. The drama.
Ooh. DOC drama at its highest. All right, well, that was all of them. Let's see what we said.
Let us examine the holiday spirit. Let the small kids sing so we can all hear it. Light up a fire and pull a chair near it. 'Cause here it is Christmas time. We all want someone.
There they are, Nick. Yeah, before we go, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention all my talk of schedule comparisons and total records. Zach took on a heavy burden taking over the decks, for a lot of reasons this year. Not one you can't discount is the schedule itself, because let me tell you, there's not a single team in the league that would have had a winning record playing long hard debts schedule this year. It was doomed from the beginning. The best option actually would have been Greg, would it be 6-6? Everybody else under 500. So
Really?
the decks had a lot of work to do. It was tough on them. They'll be happy to see the season end. But yeah, Zach, good job fighting through it, man. You did the best that could be done, really.
Yeah, and if you want to take the L this week, I get it. Just there's got to be a better option than Dak Prescott on Thursday.
Yeah, you should drop him.
That's a great idea.
Everybody's doing it.
At least one idiot. All right, so let's wrap it up. Guys, we wish you nothing but the best of luck this week. And until next week, Mother Cuppers, stay safe out there.
Playoffs?
Playoffs?
When we are born, we are swaddled and snuggled, whispered to, fussed over, tickled and cuddled. And when we grow up, things get muddled, and it is Christmas time.
DOC knows drama.